My name is Jessica Robinson and I am a lawyer. I give legal advice on international corporate and finance transactions. It's a very global market, so we advise people from all around the world. I love my job because it is very challenging and interesting. We work with people who are at the very top of their field. Our clients are from all over, currently working with Asia, Middle East, USA and Europe, so very international transaction. I've also been lucky enough to travel to New York and Singapore as part of my job, so it keeps things very interesting. So I was lucky enough while I was at university. I did a vacation scheme at a law firm in London, which is a 2-week work experience, and I moved around several different parts of that law firm, and I was very lucky to be offered a full-time job with them to train afterwards. So how law works is you do 3 years at university and then it's 1 further year doing the LPC, which is the legal practice course, and then you do 2 years in a law firm where you work in 4 different parts of that law firm, and at the end of the 2 years then you're finally a full-blown lawyer. So I was very lucky to have a nice smooth transition through that, and I stayed with that law firm then for 3 years after that, so a total of 5 years before I moved to my current law firm, which I've been with them for 2 years. I have got 3 things which I think I would say. Firstly, work hard and work on a skill. For me, that's been the biggest boost to know that I know what I'm talking about, that I can add some value, and I put in a lot of hard work to be good at law, and it gives me the boost that I need when I'm standing there in front of someone, knowing that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a blagger. I spend enough time trying to get things to come out nicely that if I'm trying to also blag on top of that, I wouldn't do too well. So I would say think of a skill that you want to do and work on it, because that's going to give you a very good baseline. My second piece of advice would be to know that things are always going to be uncomfortable at first. So don't avoid something because it's not going to be easy or because you think it's going to be hard. Everything is hard. You only get confident and good at things once you've been through the uncomfortable stage. So I would say don't duck away from things just because they feel a bit uncomfortable. And then finally, my third piece of advice, which I wish someone had told me actually when I was younger, is that most people have something that they think is not right with them. And I was always very self-conscious, and I went to all types of ends to try and hide the fact that I stammer. And actually, most people have something that they think is not perfect. So that's probably my third piece of advice, would be to know that you're not alone in having things that you're not confident about, but own it and don't try and duck away from it. So for me, my biggest achievement is every day, because my stammer may not be the same for all people, but for me my stammer is very up and down, and sometimes I could do anything and it's not a problem, and then other days the phone will ring and I will know I'll not even be able to pick up the phone and say hello, and I'll get stuck on that. And my big thing is to always give myself a well done, no matter what it is. If there's something I'm finding hard, some days it can be something that objectively is quite easy, and then other days I can do a big talk in front of lots of people, and I won't find that intimidating at all because I'll be having a good day. And so I take each day as it comes and give myself a big pat on the back whatever happens. My 13-year-old self would be amazed. I went through a phase in life where I genuinely did not have any idea how my future was going to look, and I was sort of Googling, or maybe it wasn't Google even back then, but I was looking up careers that would involve not speaking, and that was my sort of criteria, is I need to find a job that doesn't involve speaking because I'll never be able to do it. I thought of all sorts of things, and then my parents were very good. They always pushed me and told me I could do whatever I wanted to do, and they encouraged me to not let it hold me back, and which is why I'm lucky, because I've ended up in a great job, but certainly 13-year-old me would not have imagined this. My stammer itself has not held me back at all. What I would say is, up until a few years ago, I think my own attitude held me back. I spent the majority of my life on a mission to try and hide my stammer, to the point at which I went to a class when I was a teenager. I think I was 17 or 18 years old, and we were sat around in a circle, and going around the circle, which probably most stammering people have experienced, that horrible feeling when it's going to be your turn and you have to stand up and say your name and introduce yourself. And I actually decided at that point that it was better to pretend I had forgotten my name than to stammer on it, which looking back to me is now just ludicrous, but I definitely spent far too much mental energy trying to hide the fact that I stammered, and the best thing I ever did was just embrace it, and it becomes a lot less of a monster when you're not trying to keep it down. So I would definitely not say my stammering itself has ever held me back.